44. 45. 46. 47. 48. 49. 50.
At night, the sea cracks against the ship. Fear, whispers, screams, fall silent, hushed, spewed from our country, forgotten, bound to the dark edge of the earth. Alone, frightened, nameless in this stinking hole of hell.
Was it necessary to cross 15,000 miles of ocean to erect another gallows?
I should think it'd make the convicts feel at home.
This land is under English law. The courts found them guilty and sentenced them accordingly. Look, above that umbrella.
But hanging?
Only the 3 who were found stealing from the colony stores. And that over there on the eucalyptus is a flock of Cockatoo gallerita, the sulfur-crested cockatoo. You have been made governor and chief of a paradise of birds, Arthur.
And I hope not of a human hell, Davy. Don't shoot yet, Watty. Let's observe it. Could we not be more humane?
Justice and humaneness have never gone hand in hand. The law is not a sentimental comedy.
I'm not suggesting they go without punishment. It is the spectacle of hanging I object to. The convicts will feel that nothing has changed and will go back to their old ways.
The convicts never left their old ways, Governor.
3 months is not long enough to decide that.
I commend your endeavor to oppose the baneful influence of vice with the harmonizing acts of civilization, Governor. But I suspect your edifice will collapse without the mortar of fear.
Have these men lost all fear of being flogged?
John Arskett has already been sentenced to 150 lashes for assault.
The shoulder blades are exposed at 100 lashes. And I would say somewhere between 250 and 500 lashes. You are probably condemning a man to death anyway.
With the disadvantage that the death is slow, unobserved, and cannot serve as a sharp example.
Harry.
The convicts laugh at hanging, sir. They watch them all the time.
It's their favorite form of entertainment, I should say.
Perhaps because they've never been offered anything else.
Perhaps we should build the convicts an opera house.
We learn to love such things because we were presented with them as children or young men. Surely no one is born naturally cultured.
We don't even have any books here, except for the odd play and a few Bibles, and most of the convicts can't read anyways. So let us get back to the matter at hand, which is the punishment of the convicts, not their education.
Who are the condemned men, Harry?
Thomas Barrett, age 17, transported 7 years for stealing 1 ewe sheep.
17.
It does seem to prove the criminal tendencies innate.
It proves nothing.
James Freeman, 25, Irish, transported 14 years for assault on a sailor at Shadwell Dock.
I'm surprised he wasn't hanged in England.
Handy Baker, Marine, and the thieves' ringleader.
He pleaded that it was wrong for us to put the Marines and the convicts on the same rations, and that he couldn't work on so little food. He almost swayed us.
I do think that was an unfortunate decision. My men are in a firm of discontent.
Our governor-in-chief would say it's justice, Tench, and so it is. It is also justice to hang these men.
The sooner the better, I believe. There's much excitement in the colony about the hangings. It's their theater, Governor. Nothing can change that.
I would prefer them to see real plays. Fine language, sentiment.
No doubt Garrett would relish the prospect of 8 months at sea for the pleasure of entertaining a group of criminals and the odd savage.
I never liked Garrett myself. I always preferred Macklin.
I'm a Campbell man myself. We will need a hangman.
Harry, you will have to organize the hangings and eventually find someone who agrees to fill that hideous office.
Shot!
Shot, sir!
It is my belief the hanging should take place tomorrow. The quick execution of justice for the good of the colony, Governor.
The good of the colony. Oh, look! We've frightened a kangaroo.
There is also Dorothy Hanson, 82, who stole a biscuit from Robert Sideway.
Surely we don't have to hang an 82-year-old woman.
That will be unnecessary. She hanged herself this morning.
Dreamt, my,
beautiful Alicia, that I was walking with you, and that you was in your riding habit. Oh, my dear woman, when shall I be able to hear from you? All the officers dined with the governor. I never heard of any one single person having so great a power vested in him as Captain Philip has in his commission as the Governor-in-Chief of New South Wales. Dined on a cold collation, but the mutton which had been killed yesterday morning was full of maggots. Nothing, I find, will keep 24 hours in this dismal country. Went out shooting after breakfast, only shot one cockatoo. They are the most beautiful birds. Major Ross ordered one of the corporals to flog with a rope Elizabeth Morden for being impertinent to Captain Campbell. The corporal did not play with her, but laid it home, which I was very glad to see. She has long been fishing for it. On Sunday, as usual, kissed your dear beloved image 1,000 times. Was very much frightened by the lightning as it broke very near my tent. Several of the convicts have run away. If I'm not made first lieutenant soon. Harry,
I saw the light in your tent.
I was writing in my journal. Is there any trouble?
No. I just came. Talk, you know? If I wrote a journal about my life, it would fill volumes. Volumes. My travels with the captain, His Excellency now, no less, Governor-in-Chief, power to raise armies, build cities. I still call him plain Captain Philip. He likes it from me. The war in America, and before that, Ralph, my life in London, that would fill a volume on its own. Not what you'd call a good life. Sometimes I look at the convicts and I think, one of those could be you, Harry Brewer, if you hadn't joined the Navy when you did. The officers may look down on me now, but what if they found out I used to be an embezzler?
Harry, you should keep these things to yourself.
You're right, Ralph. I think the captain suspects, but he's a good man, and he looks for other things in a man.
Like what?
Hard to say. He likes to see something unusual. Ralph, I saw Handy Baker last night.
You hanged him a month ago.
No, he had a rope. Ralph, he's coming back.
It was a dream. Sometimes I think my dreams are real, but they're not.
We used to hear you on the ship calling for your Betsy Alicia.
Do not speak her name on this iniquitous shore.
Duckling's gone silent on me again. I know it's because of Handy Baker. I saw him as well as I see you. Duckling wants me, he said, even if you hanged me. I went for him, but he was gone. But he's going to come back, Ralph. I know it. I didn't want to hang him, Ralph. I didn't.
I voted with the rest of the court that those men should be hanged. I didn't know His Excellency would be against me.
Duckling says she never feels anything. How do I know she didn't feel something when she was with him? She thinks I hanged him to get rid of him, but Ralph, I didn't. Do you know I saved her life? She was sentenced to be hanged at Newgate for stealing 2 candlesticks, but I got her name put on the transport list. But when I remind her of that, she says she wouldn't have cared. 18 years old, and she didn't care if she was turned off. These women are sold before they're 10. The captain says we should treat them with kindness.
How can you treat such women with kindness? Why does he think that?
Not all of the officers find them disgusting, Ralph. Haven't you ever been tempted?
No! Never. His Excellency never seems to notice me. he finds time for Davy Collins, Lieutenant Dawes.
That's because Captain Collins is going to write about the customs of the Indians here. And Lieutenant Dawes is recording the stars.
I could write about the Indians.
Did suggest to Captain Tench that we do something to educate the convicts. Put on a play or something. Captain Tench just laughed. He doesn't like Captain Tench.
A play. Who would act in this play?
The convicts, of course. He is thinking of talking to Lieutenant Johnson, but I think Lieutenant Johnson would rather study the plants.
I read The Tragedy of Lady Jane Grey while we were on the ship. It is such a moving and uplifting play. But how could a whore play Lady Jane?
Some of those women are good women, Ralph. I believe my duckling is good. It's not her fault. If only she would just look at me. Once! React! I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shock you, Ralph. I have shocked you, haven't I? I'll go.
Harry, is His Excellency serious about putting on a play?
When the captain decides something, Ralph.
If I went to him. No, it would be better if you did. You could tell His Excellency about how much I like the theater.
I didn't know that, Ralph. I'll tell him.
Duckling could be in it too if you wanted.
I wouldn't want her to be looked at by all the men.
If His Excellency doesn't like Lady Jane, we could find something else. A comedy, perhaps.
I'll speak to him, Ralph. I like you. It's good to talk. You don't think I killed him then?
Who?
Handy Baker.
No, Harry. You did not kill Handy Baker.
Thank you, Ralph.
You won't forget to talk to His Excellency about the play.
Ah, Mr. Clark. I'm calling you Mr. Clark, as one calls Mr. Garrick, Mr. Garrick. We've not had the pleasure of meeting before.
I've seen you on the ship.
Different circumstances, Mr. Clark. Best forgotten. I was, once, a gentleman. My fortune has turned. You know, the wheel of fortune just... You're doing a play, I hear. Drury Lane, Mr. Garrick, the lovely Peg Woffington. He was so cruel to her. She was so pale.
You say you were a gentleman. Sideway?
Top of my profession, Mr. Clark. Pickpocket. Born and bred in Bermondsey. Do you know London, Mr. Clark? Don't you miss it? In these my darkest hours, I remember my happy days in that great city. London Bridge at dawn. Hand on cold iron for good luck. Down Cheapside with the market traders. Never refuse a good mince pie. Into St. Paul's churchyard. I do love a good church. And finally, begin work on Bond Street. There, I've spotted her. Rich plump, not of the best class, standing in the shop window. Plucking up the courage. I pluck her. Time for coffee until 5 o'clock, and the pinnacle, the glory of the day, Drury Lane. The coaches, the actors scuttling, the gentlemen watching, the ladies tittering, the perfumes, the clothing, the handkerchiefs. Here, Mr. Clark, do you see the skill? I beg you, I entreat you to let me perform on your stage, to let me feel once again the thrill of a play about to begin. Ah, I see ladies approaching, our future Woffingtons, sit-ins, ladies. I shall await your word of command, Mr. Clark. I shall be in the wings.
You asked to see Mary Brennan, Lieutenant. Here she is.
Yes, the governor has asked me to put on a play. You know what a play is?
I've seen lots of plays, Lieutenant. So has Mary.
Have you, Brennan? Can you remember which plays you've seen?
I can't remember what they were called. but I always knew when they were going to end badly. I knew right from the beginning. How does this one end, Lieutenant?
It ends happily. It's called The Recruiting Officer.
Mary wants to be in your play, Lieutenant, and so do I.
Do you think you have a talent for acting, Brenham?
Of course she does, and so do I. I want to play Mary's friend.
Do you know the recruiting officer, Brian?
No, but in all those plays, there's always a friend. That's because a girl has to talk to someone, and she talks to her friend. So I'll be Mary's friend.
Sylvia, that's the part I want to try Brenham for. Doesn't have a friend. She has a cousin, but they don't like each other.
Oh, Mary doesn't always like me.
The Reverend Johnson told me you can read and write, Brenham?
She went to school until she was 10. She used to read to us on the ship. We loved it. It put us to sleep.
Shall we try reading some of the play? Start there. I meant read it aloud, as you did on the ship. I'll help you. I'll read Justice Balance. That's your father.
Doesn't she have a sweetheart?
Yes, but this scene is with her father,
What's the name of her lover?
Captain Plume.
Captain Mary.
Start here, Brenham.
Whilst there is life, there is hope, sir.
Oh, I like that, Lieutenant. This is a good play, I can tell.
She hasn't finished. Start again, Brenham. That was very good.
Whilst there is life, there is hope, sir. Perhaps my brother may recover.
Excellent, Brenham. Very fluent. You could try to read a little louder. Now I'll read. We have but little reason to expect it. Poor Owen, but the decree is just. I was pleased with the death of my father, because he left me an estate, and now I am punished with the loss of an heir to inherit mine. This is a comedy. They don't really mean it. It's to make people laugh. I'll keep reading. The death of your brother makes you sole heiress to my estate, which, as you know, is about £1,200 a year.
£1,200? It must be a comedy.
My desire of being punctual in my obedience requires that you would be plain in your commands, sir.
Well said, Mary. Well said.
I think that's enough. You read very well, Brenham. Would you also be able to copy the play? We have only 2 copies.
Of course you will, Lieutenant. Where do I come in? The cousin.
Can you read, Brian?
Not those marks in the books, but I can read other things. I read dreams very well, Lieutenant. Very well.
I don't think you're right for Melinda. And if you can't read...
Mary will read me the lines, Lieutenant.
There's Rose.
Rose. I like the name. I'll be Rose. Who's she?
She's a country girl.
I grew up in Devon, Lieutenant. I'm perfect for Rose. What does she do?
Well, it's complicated. She falls in love with Sylvia. But it's because she thinks Sylvia's a man. And she sleeps with her. Rose with Sylvia. And Sylvia, too, with Rose. But nothing happens.
Oh, it doesn't! Nothing!
No, because she's pretending to be a man, so of course she can't.
I'll do Rose.
I would like to hear you.
I don't know my lines yet, Lieutenant. When I know my lines, you can hear me do them. Come on, Mary.
I didn't say you could. I'm not certain you're the right. I'm not certain I want you in the play.
Yes, you do, Lieutenant. Mary will read me the lines, and I will read you your dreams.
Here's your cousin, Melinda. Sylvia's cousin?
You can't have her in the play, Lieutenant.
Why not?
You don't have to be able to read the future to know that Liz Morton is going to be hanged.
I understand you want me in your play, Lieutenant? Is that it? I'll look at it and let you know.
No, but a play. A frippery, frittering play.
Here to celebrate the king's birthday on June the 4th.
If a frigating ship doesn't appear soon, we'll all be struck with strict-string starvation, and this guy a plague.
Not putting on a plane won't bring us a supply ship, Robbie.
And you say you want those contumelious convicts to act in this play. The convicts.
Oh, discipline's bad. Very bad.
The play has several parts for women. We have no other women here.
Your wife accepted, Reverend.
My wife abhors anything of that nature. After all, actresses are not known for their morals.
Neither are women convicts.
Well, how can they be when some of our company set them up as mistresses?
Filthy, thieving, lying whores. And now we have to watch them flout their flitty wares on the stage?
No one will be forced to watch the play.
I believe there's a partial lunar eclipse that night. I shall have to watch that. The sky in the southern hemisphere is full of wonders. Have you looked at the constellations?
No, I haven't looked at the constellations. Constellations plays. This is a convict colony. The prisoners are here to be punished, and we're here to make sure they get punished. Constellations, Jenny. Constellations.
Marines, war, food, discipline, service.
We are indeed here to supervise the convicts who are already being punished by their long exile. Surely they can also be reformed.
We're talking about criminals, often hardened criminals. These men have habits of vice and crime, and habits are difficult to break. And it can be more than habit, an innate tendency.
That's just right.
These men are born that way. It's in their nature.
You're here.
Rousseau would say we made them that way. Man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains.
But Governor, Rousseau was a Frenchman.
A Frenchman? What can you expect? We're gonna listen to a foraging Frenchman now?
He was Swiss, actually.
Aye, good soldiers, Swiss.
But surely you believe man can be redeemed, Reverend.
By the grace of God and a belief in the true church, yes. But Christ never proposed putting on a play for his disciples. He didn't forbid it either. It must depend upon the play.
Now, he did propose treating sinners, especially women who have sinned, with compassion. Most of the women convicts here have committed small crimes, a tiny theft.
We know about your compassion, not to say passion, for the women convicts.
But still, a crime is a crime. You commit a crime or you don't commit a crime. If you commit a crime, you're a criminal. Surely that's logical.
Absolutely.
It's like the savages here. You're a savage because you behave in a savage manner. And you can't expect anything else. They can't even build proper canoes.
They can be educated.
Actually, they seem happy enough as they are. They don't want to build canoes or houses, nor do they suffer from greed and ambition. Unlike some.
Which can't be said of our convicts. But really, I don't see what this has to do with a play. It is at most a passable diversion, an entertainment to while away the hours of the idle.
The convict's bone idol.
We are whiling away precious hours now. But the play on, not put it on, is not going to change the shape of the universe.
But it could change the shape of our little society.
Second Lieutenant Clark changed society.
My dear Ralph, a bunch of convicts making fools of themselves, mouthing words written no doubt by some London ass, will hardly change our society.
George Farquhar was not an ass. And he was from Ireland.
An Irishman? I gotta sit there and listen to an Irishman now?
Irish? Irishman.
The play doesn't propagate Catholic doctrine, does it?
No. He was an officer.
Crawling for promotion.
Of the Grenadiers.
I never liked the Grenadiers myself.
Wow, grenadiers, grenades, food, throw and run.
The play is called The Recruiting Officer.
I saw it in London, I believe. Yes, very funny if I do remember. Sergeant Kite, the devious ways he used to serve his captain. Oh, your part, Ralph. William, if you can't contribute anything useful to the conversation, keep quiet.
What is the plot, Ralph?
All right. So it's about this recruiting officer and his friend. And they're in love with these two young ladies from Shrewsbury. And after some difficulties, they marry them.
Detention's holy matrimony, then.
Yes, it does.
That wouldn't do the women convicts any harm, having such difficulty getting them to marry instead of this sordid cohabitation we're so used to.
Marriage, plays, why not put on a ball for the convicts?
Boxing.
Some of these men will have finished their sentence in a few years. They will become members of society again and help create a new society in this colony. Should we not encourage them now to think in a free and responsible manner?
I don't see how a comedy about two lovers will do that, Arthur.
The theater is an expression of civilization. We belong to a great country which has spawned great playwrights. Shakespeare, Marlowe, Johnson, and even in our own time, Sheridan. The convicts will be speaking a refined, literate language and expressing sentiments of a delicacy they are not used to. It will remind them that there is more to life than crime, punishment. And we, this colony of a few hundred, will be watching this together. For a few hours, we will no longer be despised prisoners in hated jails. We will laugh. We may be moved. We may even think a little. Can you suggest something else that will provide such an evening walking?
Mapping the stars gives me more enjoyment, personally.
I don't think it's a good idea having the convicts laugh at officers, Arthur.
FU, insubordination, no discipline.
You want this vice-ridden vermin to enjoy themselves.
They'll only laugh at Sergeant Kite.
Captain Plume, the main character, is a most noble, attractive fellow.
He's not loose, is he, Ralph? I hear many of these plays are about rakes and encourage loose morals in women. They do get married. Before, and for the right reasons.
Yes, they marry for love and to secure wealth.
That's all right.
I would simply say that if you want to build a civilization, there are more important things than a play. If you want to teach these convicts something, teach them to farm, to build houses.
Here.
Teach them respect for property. Teach them thrift, so they don't eat a week's rations in one night. But above all, teach them how to work, not how to sit around laughing at some comedy.
Damn straight.
The Greeks believed that it was a citizen's duty to watch a play. It was a kind of work in that it required attention, judgment, patience, all of the social virtues.
And the Greeks were conquered by the more practical Romans, Arthur.
Indeed, the Romans built their bridges, but they also spent centuries wishing they were Greeks. And they, in the end, were conquered by the barbarians or their own small and corrupt spirits.
Are you saying Rome would not have fallen if the theater would have been better?
Why not? In my own small way, in just a few hours, I have seen something change. I've asked some of the convict women to read me some lines. These women who are often no better than animals. And it seemed to me as if one or two, I'm not saying all of them, not at all, but one or two. In reading those well-balanced lines of Mr. Farquhar, they seemed to acquire a kind of dignity. They seemed to lose some of their corruption. There was one of them, Mary Brennan. She read so well, perhaps this play can keep her from selling herself to the first Marine who offers her bread.
She'll sell herself to him instead.
Oh, so that's the way the wind blows.
Ooh, a tempest then.
I speak about her, but in a small way this could affect all the convicts, and even ourselves. We could forget our worries about the supplies, and the hangings, and the floggings, and think of ourselves at the theater, in London, with our wives and children. That is, we could
Transcend
the darker. Transcend the brutality. And remember our better nature. And remember
England.
Where did this wee lieutenant learn how to speak?
He must have had one of his dreams.
What you are saying cannot be substantiated, Ralph. It's 2 hours, possibly of amusement, possibly of boredom. And we will lose the labor of the convicts during the time they learn their lines. It's a waste, an unnecessary waste.
I'm still concerned about the content.
The content of the play is irrelevant.
Even if it teaches insubordination, disobedience, revolution?
Since we have agreed the play can do no harm, since it might possibly do some good, since the only person violently opposed to it is Major Ross for reasons he has not made clear. I suggest we allow Ralph to rehearse his play. Does anyone disagree?
Absolutely.
We have taken your disagreement into account, Robbie. Thank you, Captain Campbell. Dawes, do come back to Earth and honor us with your attention for a moment.
About the play.
What? No, why not? As long as I don't have to watch it.
Johnson?
I'm for it.
Fatty?
I'm against it.
Can you tell us why?
I don't trust the director.
Tench?
Waste of time.
The Reverend, our moral guide, has no objections.
Of course, I haven't read it.
Davy, this is not an objective summing up. This is typical of your high-handed
I don't
man.
think you're one to accuse others of having a high-handed manner, Watkins.
Gentlemen, please.
Your Excellency is for the play, and I myself am convinced it will prove a most interesting experiment. So let's conclude with our good wishes to Ralph for a successful production.
I will not accept this. You willy-wally wobbly words, Greeks, Romans, experiment to get your own way. You don't take anything seriously, but I know this play. This play. Order will become disorder. The theater leads to threatening theory. And you, Governor, you have His Majesty's commission to build castles, cities, raise armies, administer a military colony, not fandangle about with a lewdy play. I'm going to write to the Admiralty about this.
You are out of turn, Rob.
Confusion.
Why is Robbie so upset? So much fuss over a play.
Major Ross will never forgive you, Ralph.
I have summed up the feelings of the assembled company, Arthur, but the last word must be yours.
The last word will be the play, gentlemen.
It's almost beginning to look like a town. Look, Duckling, there's the captain's house. I can see him in his garden. Sydney, you could have found a better name. Mobsbury? Lagtown? Duckling Cove, eh? He said it had to be named after the Home Secretary. The courthouse looks impressive all in brick. And there's Lieutenant Dawes' observatory. Why don't you look, Duckling? The trees look more friendly from here. Did you know that the eucalyptus tree can't be found anywhere else in the world? Captain Collins told me that. Isn't that interesting? Lieutenant Clark said that the 3 orange trees on his island are doing well. It's the turnips he's worried about. He thinks they're being stolen, and he's too busy with his play to go and have a look. Would you like to see the orange trees, Duckling? I thought you'd enjoy rowing to Ralph's Island. I thought it would remind you of rowing on the Thames. Look how blue the water is, Duckling. Say something, Duckling.
If I was rowing on the Thames, I'd be free.
This isn't Newgate, Duckling.
I wish it was.
Duckling.
At least the jailer of Newgate left you alone, and you could talk to people.
I let you talk to the women.
Mary Brenham, Esther Abrams?
They're good women.
I have nothing to say to those women, Harry. My friends are in the women's camp.
It's not the women you're after in the women's camp. It's the men who come looking for you. I know you. Who do you have your eye on now? Another soldier? A marine? A corporal? Who, Duckling, who? You've found someone already, haven't you? I'm sorry, Duckling. Why can't you just be with me? Don't be angry, Duckling. I'll do anything for you. You know that. What do you want, Duckling?
I don't want to be watched all the time. I wake up in the middle of the night and you're watching me. What do you think I'm going to do in my sleep, Harry? Watching, watching, watching. Just stop watching me.
You want to leave me? All right, fine. Go and live in the women's camp. Sell yourself to a convict. Leave if you want to.
Why are you so angry with your duckling, Harry? Your duckling doesn't want to leave you.
Duckling,
I just need freedom sometimes, Harry.
you have to earn your freedom with good behavior.
Why didn't you just let them hang me and take my corpse with you? You could keep that in chains. I wish I were dead. At least when you're dead, you're free.
Duckling, do you know Lieutenant Clark's play? Do you want to be in it? Dabby Bryant is in it too, and Liz Morden. Do you want to be in it? You would rehearse in the evenings with Lieutenant Clark.
Oh, so then he can watch over me instead of you.
I'm trying to make you happy, Duckling. If you don't want to...
I'll be in the play. How is Lieutenant Clark going to manage Liz Morden?
The captain wanted her to be in it.
On the ship, we used to see who could make Lieutenant Clark blush first. Never took long.
You won't try anything with Lieutenant Clark, will you?
With that, Molly? No.
You're talking to me again. Come here. I'll come and watch the rehearsals.
Are you remembering your lines, Debbie?
What lines? Oh, no. I was remembering Devon. I was on my way back to Bigbury Bay.
You promised Lieutenant Clark you'd learn your lines.
I want to go back. I want to see that wall of stone. I want to hear the Atlantic breaking into the estuary. You know, I can bring a boat into any harbor, in any weather. I can do it as well as the governor.
Debbie, what about your lines?
I'm not spending the rest of my life in this flat, brittle, burnt-out country. Oh, give me some English rain.
It rains here.
It's not the same. I could recognize English rain anywhere. And Devon rain, Mary, Devon rain is the softest in England. As soft as Lieutenant Clark's dimpled cheeks.
Debbie, don't.
You're wasting time, girl. He's ripe for the plucking. You can always tell with men. They begin to walk sideways. And if you
Don't start. I listened to you once before.
What would you have done without that lanky sailor drooling over you?
I'll never wash the sin away.
Well, you didn't die. Thanks to me, you had 3 pounds of beef a week instead of 2, and 2 extra ounces of cheese.
Which you were happy to eat.
We women have to look after each other. Let's learn the lines.
We women? You sold me that first day so you and your husband could eat.
Do you want me to learn these lines or not?
How can I play Sylvia? She's brave and strong. She couldn't have done what I've done.
She didn't have to spend 8 months and 1 week on a convict ship. Anyway, you can pretend you're her.
No, I have to be her.
Why?
Because that's acting.
No way I'm being Rose. She's an idiot.
It doesn't matter so much. It's not a big part.
You didn't tell me that before.
I hadn't read it carefully. Come on, let's do the first scene between Sylvia and Rose. I have rested but indifferently, and I believe my bedfellow is as little pleased. Poor Rose, here she comes.
I could have done something for Rose. I should play Sylvia.
Good morrow, my dear. How do you this morning? Now you say, just as I was last night, neither better nor worse for you.
You can't do the play without me. I'm in it. I'm not done talking. Where's the lieutenant? She's teaching me some lines. Why aren't you teaching me the lines?
We're not doing your scenes.
Well, do them.
You can read. You can read your own lines.
I don't want to learn them on my own. I'm waiting.
What are you waiting for, Liz Morton? The blind man to buy your wares?
We'll do the first scene between Melinda and Sylvia, all right?
Yeah, the first scene.
You start. You start. Welcome to town, Cousin Sylvia.
Welcome to town, Cousin Sylvia.
Go on. I envied you.
I envy you. You read it first.
Why?
I want to hear how you do.
Why?
because then I can do it different. I envied you your retreat in the country for Shrewsbury, methinks, and all your heads of
You're
shire.
talking too fast. You can say it slower.
No, you do it slow, then I'll say it fast.
Why don't you just read it? You can't read.
What? I'll teach you the lines.
What are you, her friend now? Is that it? Mary, the holy innocent. Feel?
Good morning, ladies.
And why aren't you at work instead of at each other's throat?
I wouldn't talk of throats if I were you, Mr. Hingman, Ketch, Freeman,
Crap merchant.
Crapping Call, Switcher,
Roper. I was only asking what you were doing. You know, friendly like.
Stick to your ropes, my little dollar. Don't bother the actresses.
The actresses? You're doing a play?
Better than dancing the Paddington Frisk in your arms, noser.
I'll nose on you, Liz, if you're not careful.
I take a leap in the dark sooner than turn off my own kind. Now take your whirligigs out of our sight! We have lines to learn.
Don't hang too many people, Ketch. We need an audience. Welcome to town, Cousin Sylvia. It says you salute.
Welcome to town, cousin. Sylvia?
Dreamt, my beloved Betsy, that I was with you, and that I thought I was going to be arrested. I hope that there is nothing the matter with you, my tender Alicia, or that of our dear boy. My darling, tender wife, I'm reading Proverbs, waiting till midnight, the Sabbath, that I might kiss your picture as usual. The patrols caught 3 seamen and a boy in the women's camp. Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Good God! What a scene of whoredom is going on there in the women's camp. Very hot this night. Captain Shea killed today one of the kangaroos. It is the most curious animal I ever saw. Almost midnight, my Betsy, the Lord's Day. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of a harlot and subtle of heart. So she caught him and kissed him with an impudent face. Felt ill with the toothache, my dear wife. My God, what pain. So she caught him and kissed him with an impudent face. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, cinnamon. Sarah McCormick was flogged today for calling the doctor midnight. This being Sunday, took your picture out of its prison and kissed it. God bless you, my sweet, sweet woman. Catch!
Forgive me, sir. Please forgive me. I didn't want to disturb your prayers. I say 50 Hail Marys myself every night, and even 200 on the days when... I'll wait outside, sir.
What do you want?
I'll wait quietly, sir. Don't mind me.
Why aren't you in the camp at this hour?
I should be. God forgive me, I should be. But I'm not. I'm here. I have to have a word with you, sir.
Get back to the camp immediately. I'll see you in the morning. Catch.
Don't call me that! Sir, I beg you, don't call me by that name. That's what I came to see you about.
I was about to go to sleep.
I understand, sir, and you're so in peace. I won't take up your time. I'll be brief.
Well?
Don't you want to finish your prayers? I can be very quiet. I used to watch my mother, may her poor soul rest in peace. I used to watch her say her prayers every night.
Just get on with it.
When I say my prayers, I have a terrible doubt. How can I know God has forgiven me? What if He will forgive me, but hasn't forgiven me yet? That's why I don't want to die, sir. That's why I can't die. Not until I'm sure. Are you sure?
I'm not a convict. I don't sin.
To be sure, forgive me, sir. But if we're in God's power, then surely He makes us sin. I was given a guardian angel when I was born, like all good Catholics. Why didn't my guardian angel look after me better? But I think he must have stayed in Ireland. I think the devil tempted my mother to London, and both of our guardian angels stayed behind. Have you ever been to Ireland, sir? It's a beautiful country. If I had been an angel, I wouldn't have left it either. And when we came within 6 fields of Westminster, the devils took over. But it's God's judgment I'm frightened of, and the women's. They're so hard. Why is that?
Why have you come here?
I'm coming up to that, sir.
Hurry up, then.
I'm speaking as fast as I can, sir.
Catch.
James! Sir. James Daniel Patrick. After my 3 uncles. Good men they were. Didn't go to London. If my mother hadn't brought us to London, may God give peace to her soul and breathe pity into the hearts of her women, because the docks were in London. And if I had to work on the docks, on that day, May 23rd, 1785. Do you remember it, sir? Shallow Dock. If only we hadn't left, then I wouldn't have been there and then nothing would have happened. I wouldn't have become a co-heaver on Shallow Dock and have been there on the 23rd of May when we refused to work because they were paying us so badly. I wasn't even near the sailor who got killed. He shouldn't have done the unloading. That was wrong of the sailor. But it didn't kill him. Maybe one blow, not to look stupid, you know, just to show I was with the lads, even if I wasn't. But it didn't kill him. And they called 5 at random, sir. And I was among the 5. And then they find a cudgel. But I just had that to look good, that's all. Later, when it said to me, you can hang or you can give the names. What was I to do? What would you have done, sir?
I wouldn't have been in that situation, Freeman.
To be sure, forgive me, sir. I only told on the ones that I saw. I didn't tell anything that wasn't true. Death is a horrible thing. That poor sailor.
I'm going to go to bed now.
I understand, sir. I understand. And when it happened again here, and I had hopes of making a good life here, it's because I'm so friendly, see? So I go along. And then I'm the one who gets caught. That theft, I didn't do it. I was just there, keeping a lookout. Just to help some friends, you know. And later when it said to me, hang or be hanged, what do you do? Someone has to do it. I try to do it well. God has mercy on the whore, the thief, the lame. Surely He'll forgive the hangman? It's the women, sir. They're without mercy. Not like you and me, sir, men. What I wanted to say, sir, is that I heard him talking about a play. Some players came into our village once. They were loved like the angels, Lieutenant. Loved like the angels. And the way the women watched them, the light of spring down in their eyes. Lieutenant, I want to be an actor.
I would rather counsel than command. I don't propose this with the authority of a parent, but as the advice of your friend.
Friend. It's a good word. Short, full of promise.
That you would take the coach this moment and go into the country.
Country can mean opposite things. Renews you with trees and grass. You go rest in the country. or it crushes you with power. You die for your country. Your country doesn't want you. You're thrown out of your country. I like words. My father went to the houses of the dead to sell the old clothes to the poorhouses on the Thames. He found a dictionary. Johnson's dictionary was as big as a Bible. Went from A to L. I started with the A's. Abecedary. Someone who teaches the alphabet or rudiments of language. Abject. A man without hope.
What does indulgent mean?
How is it used?
You have been so careful, so indulgent to me.
Means ready to overlook faults. You have to be careful with words that begin with in. Injustice. Most of the word is taken up with justice. But the in twists it around and makes it the ugliest word in the English language.
Guilty is an uglier word.
Innocent ought to be a beautiful one, but it's not. It's full of sorrow, of anguish.
I don't have much time. We start this in a few days. I have the biggest part.
You have a beautiful hand.
There's so much to copy, so many words.
I can write.
You can tell Lieutenant Clark, he's doing it.
No, I'm
Afraid?
diffident.
Well, I'll tell him. I won't. My friend Dabby will. She's
Bold. Shy is not a bad word. It's soft.
But shame is a hard one.
Words with two L's are the worst. Lonely. Loveless.
Love is a good word.
It's because it only has one L. I like words with one L best. Luck. Latitudinarian. Laughter.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
We're ladies now. Wait till I tell my husband I've become a lady.
It is with pleasure that
Our pleasure, Mr. Clark.
Our pleasure? We have many hard days of work ahead of us.
Work?
So,
I'm not working. I thought we was acting.
now, if I may introduce the company.
We've all met before, Lieutenant. You could say we know each other.
It's the theatrical custom. The company is formally introduced to each other. Mrs. Bryant.
Mrs. Bryant? Who's Mrs. Bryant?
It's the theatrical form of address, madam. You may call me Mr. Sideway.
Ooh,
if I may proceed.
We're interrupting the director.
So we are, Mr. Hangman.
Roper.
The ladies first. Mary Brenham, who is to play Sylvia. Liz Morden, who is to play Melinda. Duckling Smith, who is to play Lucy, Melinda's maid. And
I'm not playing Liz Morden's maid.
Why not?
I live with an officer. He wouldn't like it.
Just because she lives chained up in that old tosspot.
Don't you dare talk of my maid!
You're not playing Morden's maid Smith, you're playing Melinda's. And Dabby Bryant, who is to play Rose, a country girl.
From Devon. Screwjob bitch. Salt bitch.
That's the ladies. Now, Captain Plume is to be played by Henry Cable, who seems to be late. That's odd. I saw him an hour ago, and he said he was going to go to your hut to learn some lines, Weishammer. Sergeant Kite is to be played by John Arscott, who did send a message to say that he would be kept at work an extra hour.
An hour? You won't see him in an hour.
You're not the only one with new wrinkles in your arse, Dabby Bryant.
Mr. Worthy will be played by Mr. Sideway.
I'm here.
James Freeman will play Justice Balance.
No way I'm doing a play with the hangman. The words would stick in my throat.
You're not in any scenes with him, Smith. Now, if I could finish the introductions. And Captain Brazen, who is to be played by John Weishammer. Now, we can't do the first scene until John Arscott appears.
There won't be a first scene.
Bryant, will you be quiet, please? the second scene. So, Act 1, Scene 2. Captain Plume and Mr. Worthy.
That's me. I'm at your command.
Perhaps we should begin by reading it.
No need, Mr. Clark. I already know it.
Ah, I'm afraid I shall have to read Captain Plume.
I know that part too. Do you want me to do both of them?
I think it's better if I do it. Shall we begin? Kite, that's John Arscott, has just left.
Running.
Brian! I'll read the line before Worthy's entrance. None at present. 'Tis indeed the picture of Worthy. Sideway, what are you doing over there?
I'm preparing my entrance, Mr. Clark. I won't be a minute. Could you read the line again? Slower, please.
None at present. 'Tis indeed the picture of Worthy. But the life's departed. What? Arms across? Worthy!
Yes, arms across. I forgot. I shall have to start again.
Are you serious?
Could you read the lines again? Slower, please.
What? Arms across? Worthy!
My wiper! There's a wipe jar in this crew, Mr. Clark.
What's the matter?
There's a pickpocket in the company.
Talk of the pot calling the kettle black.
Who pricked my handkerchief?
I'm sure it will turn up, Sideway. Let's just move on.
I can't do my entrance without my handkerchief. I've been practicing it all night. Now, who took it? Is it you? If I get my hands on the wrong...
No. You two stay separate. Right? Let's just assume Worthy has already entered. Now, I say, what? Arms across? Worthy! Methinks you should hold them open when a friend so near. I must expel this melancholy spirit. What are you doing down there, Sideway?
I'm being melancholy. I saw Mr. Garrett being melancholy once, and that's what he did. Hamlet, it was. Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt. Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt. Oh, that this too.
This is a comedy. It is perhaps a little lighter. Try to stand normally and to just look melancholy. I'll say the line again. The audience won't be able to hear Captain Plume's lines if your sobs are so loud.
I'm still establishing my melancholy.
A comedy needs to move quite fast. In fact, I think we'll cut out that line of the two verses that follow and go straight to Worthy greeting Plume.
I like the word melancholy.
So what? No one cares.
A greeting. Yes, a greeting looks like this. Bloom! Now I'll change to say the next words. My dear Captain. That's affection, isn't it? If I put my hands on my heart like this. Now. Welcome. I'm not quite sure how to do welcome.
I think if you just say the line.
Yes, okay. Welcome.
Yes.
Now.
Sideway! What are you doing?
I'm checking that you're safe and sound returned. That's what the line says. Safe and sound returned.
Yes, but you don't need to grope him. You can see that.
Yes. I shall look over his different parts with my eyes. Now I'll put it all together. Bloom! My dear Captain. Welcome. Safe and sound return.
Sideway, that is a very good attempt. It is very theatrical, but you could try to be a little more natural.
Natural? On the stage? But Mr. Clark.
Garrick, that actor you're so infatuated with, is famed for his naturalness.
Of course. I thought I was being like Garrick, but never mind. Natural. Quite. You are the director, Mr. Clark.
I am. And perhaps you could look at me when you say your lines.
Then the audience won't get to see my face.
The lines are said to Captain Plume. Let's move on. Plume says, I escaped safe from Germany. Shall we say America? It will make it more contemporary.
Can't change the words of the playwright, sir.
Nobody cares.
I can. Well, and sound, I hope, from London. Caesar, we're rehearsing. Would you...
I see that, well, Monsieur Lieutenant. I see that this is a piece of theater. I have seen many pieces of theater in my beautiful home island of Madagascar, and now I will be in your piece of theater.
There's no part for me.
Monsieur, there is always a part for Caesar.
All of the parts have been taken.
I will play his servants.
Mr. Farquhar hasn't written a servant for Worthy.
She can have my part. I want to play something else.
Monsieur, there is always a black servant in a play. So now I will stand here behind him, and I will be his servant.
There are no lines for it.
I speak on French. It makes him a more higher gentleman if he has a French waiter. And now he gets the lady with the black servant. Très chic.
I'll think about it. Actually, I would like to rehearse the ladies now. They have been waiting very patiently, and we don't have much time left. Freeman, would you go and see what's happened to Arscott? Simon, we'll come back to your scene another time, but that was very good. Very good. A little, but very good. Now, let's rehearse the first scene between Sylvia and Melinda. So, Morden and Brenham, if you would come and stand here. Now, the scene is set in Melinda's apartment, so Morden, if you would stand here, Brenham, you stand facing her. Now, begin.
Welcome to town, Cousin Sylvia. Envied you retreat to the country for Shrewsbury, methinks, and all your heads of shires the most irregular places for living.
Morden.
Wait! I haven't finished. Here we have smoke, noise, scandal, affectation, and pretension, in short, everything to give the scene and nothing to divert it than the airs and tar.
Morden, you know your lines very well.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
But you might want to try and act them. Let's look at the scene. You're a rich lady. You're at home. Now, a rich lady would stand in a certain way. Try to stand like a rich lady would. Try to look at Sylvia with a certain assurance.
Assurance?
Confidence. Like this. You've seen rich ladies, haven't you?
I robbed a few.
All right. How do they behave?
They scream.
I meant before you robbed them.
I don't know. I was watching their purses.
Have you ever seen a rich lady in her own house?
I used to climb into the big houses when I was a girl and just stand there, looking. I didn't take anything. I just stood, like this.
But if it was your own house, you would think it normal to live like that.
It's not normal. It's not normal when others have nothing, sir.
When acting, you have to imagine things. You have to imagine you're someone different. Now, think of a rich lady and imagine you're her. Got it? Good. Morden, what are you doing?
If I was rich, I'd eat myself sick.
Me too. Potatoes.
Roast beef in Yorkshire pudding?
Could we get on with the scene, please? Brenham, it's your turn to speak.
Oh, madam, I have heard the town commended for its air.
But you don't consider, Sylvia, how long I have lived in it.
I believe you would look at her.
She didn't look at me.
Didn't she? She will now.
For I can assure you that to a lady the least nice in her constitution, no air could be good above half a year. Change in air I find to be the most agreeable of any variety in life.
But prithee, my dear Melinda, don't put on such an air to me.
Excellent, Brenham. You could be a little more sharp on the don't.
Don't.
Yes.
But prithee, my dear Melinda, don't put on such an air to me. Your education and mine were just the same. And I remember a time when we never troubled our heads about air, but when the sharp air from the Welsh mountains made our noses drop in a cold morning at the boarding school.
Good, good. Now you, Morton?
Our education, cousin, was the same, but our temperaments had nothing alike.
That's a little better, Morton, but you needn't be quite so angry with her. Now, go on, Brenham.
Wait! I haven't finished my speech!
Oh, please, excuse me, Morton.
No, that's fine. I didn't mean... You don't have to.
Please do.
You have the constitution of a horse.
That's much better, Morton, but you must always remember you are a lady. What can I do to help you? Lucy.
That's you, Duncan.
You see that piece of wood over there? Go take that to Melinda. That will be your fan.
I'm not fetching nothing for Liz.
She's not Morden, she's Melinda, your mistress. In fact, you're her servant, Lucy. Actually, you should be in this scene. So, now go take her that piece of wood.
Here.
Thank you, Lucy. I do much appreciate your effort.
No. You would just nod your head.
Don't add any words to the play.
Now, you would stand behind Morden.
And what
Here.
am I supposed to say?
You say nothing.
How are they gonna know I'm here? Why does she get all the lines? Why can't I have some of hers?
I believe now it's your turn to speak, Brenham.
So far as to be troubled with neither colic, spleen, nor vapors, I need no...
Major Ross, Captain Campbell, I'm rehearsing.
Oh, rehearsing.
Tusha, rehearsing.
Lieutenant Clark is rehearsing. Lieutenant Clark asked us to give the prisoners 2 hours so he could rehearse, but what has he done with them? What?
Other things,
Where are the prisoners Cable and Arscott, Lieutenant?
They seem to be late.
While you were rehearsing, Arscott and Cable slipped into the woods with 3 others, so 5 men have run away, and it's all because of your damned play and your so-called Thespis. And not only have your Thespis run away, they've stolen food from the stores for their renegade escapade. That's what your play has done.
I don't see what the play has to
I
do...
said it from the beginning, didn't I? The play will bring down calamity on this colony.
I cannot see how the play...
The devil, Lieutenant, always comes through the mind. Here, worms its way. Idleness in words.
Major Ross, I cannot agree with you.
Listen to me, my lad. You are a second lieutenant. You don't agree or disagree with Major Ross.
No discipline, Tusha.
Caesar. She started going with them and came back.
That's all right. She's not in the play.
Yes, I am. S'il vous plaît, monsieur. I am a servant.
John Wisehammer.
I had nothing to do with it.
You're a Jew, aren't you? You're guilty. Cable was last seen near Wisehammer's hut. Liz Morden. She was observed next to the colony stores late last night in the company of Cable, who was supposed to be repairing the door. Liz Morden, you will be tried for stealing from the stores. You know the punishment? Death by hanging. And now you may continue to rehearse, Lieutenant.
Recruiting officer. Good title, Arara. But the plate, a play.
Luck? Don't know the word. She just says Bob when I comes near. Born under a halfpenny planet I was. Dad's a nibbler. Don't want to get cracked. Mum leaves. 5 brothers. I'm the only titter. I takes in Washington. Then, my own dear father. Lady's walking down the street. He swipes her wiper. She screams. He's shoulder clapped. Says, "It's not me, sir. It's Lizzie. Look, she took it." I'm stripped. Beaten in the street. Everyone watching. That night, I take my dad's cudgel and I try to kill him. I break all his clothes and go to my older brother. He don't want me. "Liz," he says, "why trying for a make when you can whack for a winnie?" "I'm no dimbermort," I says. "Don't ask you to be a swell molisher, sister. Men want Miss Laycock. Don't look at your mug." So I begin to sell my mother of saints. Thinks I'm in luck when I meet the swell cove. He's a boggle. Says to me, "It's not enough to sell your mossy face, Lizzie. It don't bring no shiners no more." Shows me how to spice the swells. So, swell has me up the wall, flashes a pocket watch, I lifts it. But one time, my stump's too slow, the swell squeaks me, the snoozy hears, and I'm nigged! It's up the ladder to rest, I thinks, when I goes before the fortune teller. But no, the judge the bobco. I nabbed the king's pardon, and it's 7 years across the herring pond. Bloody hell! The hunger on that ship! The sailors won't touch me! No ransom scantum, no food! But here, the governor says, new life. You could really knob it here, Lizzie, I think to myself. Bobco Gov, this niffy-naffy play, not too much work. A good crew of rufflers, Cable, Arscott. But no, Ross don't like my mug, and I'm nipped again. And now it's up the ladder to rest for good. Well, Lizzie Morden's life. And you, Wisehammer, how did you get here?
Betrayal. Barbarous falsehood. Intimidation. Injustice.
Speak in English, Wisehammer.
I'm innocent. I didn't do it. And I'll keep saying I didn't.
It doesn't matter what you say. If they say you're a thief, you're a thief.
No, I'm not a thief. Go back to England, to the snuff shop of Rickett and Lowe's, and say, "See, I'm back. I'm innocent."
They won't listen.
You can't live if you think that way. I'm sorry. 7 years and I'll go back.
What do you want to go back to England for? You're not English.
I was born in England. I'm English. What do I have to do to make people believe that?
You have to think English. I hate England, but I think English. And him, Arscott, he's not said a word since they brought him in. But he's thinking English. I can tell.
I don't want to think English. If I think English, I will die. I want to go back to Madagascar and think my legacy. I want to die at home and join my ancestors.
It doesn't matter where you die when you're dead.
If I die here, I will have no spirit. I want to go home. I will escape again.
There is no escape.
Last time I lose my courage. This time I ask my ancestors. They will know.
There is no escape.
See? That's English. You know things.
My ancestors will know.
There is no escape, I tell you! You go in circles out there, that's all you do, you walk and you don't reach China. You go back on your steps. The savvies don't get you first. Even a compass doesn't work in that foreign, upside-down desert. Here, you can read. What does it say? Why did it work?
It says north.
Then why didn't it work? It was supposed to take us to China.
It's because it's not a compass.
I gave my only shilling to a sailor for it. He told me it was a compass.
It's a piece of paper with the word north written on it. He lied. He deceived you. He betrayed you.
Madam, gentlemen, fellow players, we have come to visit, to commiserate, to offer our humble services.
Get out!
Liz, we've come to rehearse the play.
Rehearse the play.
The lieutenant has gone to talk to the governor. So, Harry said we could come see you.
Lieutenant Clark has asked me to stand in his place so we don't lose time. Let's start with the first scene between Melinda and Brazen.
How can I play Captain Brazen in chains?
This is the theater. We will believe you.
When does Kite come in?
Madam, I have brought you your fan.
I hear you want to stop the play, Lieutenant.
Half of my cast is in chains, sir.
That is a difficulty, but it can be overcome. Is that your only reason, Lieutenant?
So many people seem against it, sir.
Are you afraid?
No, sir. But I do not wish to displease my superior officers.
If you break conventions, it is inevitable you will make enemies, Lieutenant. This play irritates them.
Yes, and
Socrates irritated the state of Athens and was put to death for it.
Sir?
Would you have a world without Socrates?
Sir,
In the Meno, one of Plato's great dialogues, have you read it, Lieutenant? Socrates demonstrates that a slave boy can learn the principles of geometry as well as a gentleman. In other words, he demonstrates that human beings have an intelligence which has nothing to do with the circumstances into which they are born.
Sir.
Lieutenant, it is a matter of reminding the slave of what he knows, of his own intelligence. And by intelligence you may read goodness, talent, the innate qualities of human beings.
I see, sir.
When he treats the slave boy as a rational human being, the boy becomes one. He loses his fear and becomes a competent mathematician. A little more encouragement, and he might become an extraordinary mathematician. Who knows? You must see your actors in that light.
I can see some of them, sir, but there are others. There's John Arscott.
He has just been given 200 lashes for trying to escape. It will take time for him to see himself as a human being again.
And then there's Liz Morden.
Liz Morden. I had a reason for asking you to cast her as Melinda. Morden is one of the most difficult women in the colony.
She is indeed, sir.
Lower than a slave, full of loathing, foul-mouthed, desperate.
Exactly, sir. And so violent.
Quite. To be made an example of.
By pain.
No, Lieutenant. By redemption.
The Reverend Johnson says he's given up on her, sir.
The Reverend is an ass, Lieutenant. I'm speaking of redeeming her humanity.
I'm afraid there may not be much there, sir.
How do we know what humanity lies hidden beneath the rags and filth of a mangled life? I have seen soldiers given up for dead, limbs torn, heads cut open, come back to life. If we treat her as a corpse, of course she will die. Try a little kindness, Lieutenant.
But will she be hanged?
I don't want a woman to be hanged, but you must help me, Ralph.
Yes, sir.
I had retired from His Majesty's service, Ralph. I was farmer. I don't know why they asked me to rule over this colony of wretched souls, but I will fulfill my responsibility. No one will stop me.
No, sir.
What is a statesman's responsibility? To ensure the rule of law. But the citizens must be taught to obey the law of their own will. I want to rule over responsible human beings, not to tyrannize over a group of animals. I want there to be a contract between us, not a whip on my side, terror and hatred on theirs. And you must help me, Ralph.
Yes, sir. The play
won't change much, but it is the diagram in the sand that may just remind the slave boy. You understand?
I think so.
We may fail. I may have a mutiny on my hands. They are trying to convince the Admiralty that I am mad.
Sir!
And they will threaten you. You don't want to be a second lieutenant all your life.
No, sir.
I cannot go over the head of Major Ross in the matter of promotion.
I see.
But we have embarked, Ralph, and we must stay afloat. There is a more serious threat that may capsize us all. If a ship does not arrive within 3 months, the supplies will be exhausted. In a month, I will cut the rations again. Harry is not well. Can you do something? Good luck with the play. Oh, and Ralph.
Sir.
Unexpected circumstances are often matched by unexpected virtues in people, are they not?
I believe they are, sir.
A play is a world in itself. A tiny colony, we could almost say. And you are in charge of it. It is a great responsibility.
I will lay down my life if I have to, sir.
I don't think it will come to that, Lieutenant. You need only do your best.
Yes, sir. I will, sir.
Excellent.
It's a wonderful play, sir. I wasn't sure at first, as you know, but now...
Good, good. I shall look forward to seeing it. I'm sure it will be a success.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Duckling! Duckling!
She's on the beach, Harry, waiting for her young handy baker.
Go away, Handy! Go away!
The dead never go away, Harry.
I didn't kill you!
You wanted me dead!
I did it!
You wanted me hanged!
Oh wait! I wanted you hanged! Go away! Thomas Merritt, you were hanged because you stole from the company's stores! Oh, I was 17! But you lived a very wicked life! Oh, I did it! That's what you said that morning. You said, I have lived a very wicked life. Oh, I had to say something, Mr. Brewer, that made sense to Dahlia. Oh, I'd heard the Reverend say we were all wicked, but it was horrible. My body hanging there, my tongue sticking out. You shouldn't have stolen the food. Oh, I wanted to live, go back to England. I'd only be 25. I hadn't done it much, not like you. Luckily, oh, I wish I weren't dead, Mr. Brewer. Oh, I had plans. I was going to have my farm, drink with friends, and feel the strong arms of a girl around me. Then you shouldn't have stolen the food. Didn't you ever steal? No. Yes. But that was different. Why should you be alive after what you've done? Duckling! Duckling! Duckling!
What's the matter, Harry?
I'm seeing them. All of them. The dead. Help me.
I heard your screams from the beach. You're just having another bad dream.
No. I see them. Duckling, what were you doing on the beach? You were with him. He told me. You were with Handy Baker.
Here are some of your caterwauling cash, Lieutenant.
The governor said release the prisoners.
Unchain Wisehammer the Savage, Captain Campbell. She stays in chains. She's being tried tomorrow. We don't want her sloping off.
I can't rehearse with one of my players in chains, Major.
Difficult.
We'll tell the governor you didn't need her and take her back to prison then.
No. We shall manage. Sideway, go over the scene you rehearsed in prison with Melinda, please.
I'm in the scene too, Lieutenant.
No, you're not.
You said
Yes, she is.
She's my servant.
The rest of us will go from Sylvia's entrance as Jack Wilford. Arscott is in that scene.
Oh, we haven't finished with Arscott yet, Lieutenant.
Punishment for escape. Fainted. 53 lashes left.
Caesar's next, after Morden's trial.
Brennan, are you ready? Weisheimer? I'll play Captain Plume.
Oh, the wee lieutenant wants to be in the play too. He wants to be promoted to convict, I guess. Don't worry, Mr. Clark. We'll have you in the chain gang soon.
Major, we will rehearse now. We wish to rehearse.
No one's stopping you, Lieutenant.
Major, rehearsals need to take place in the utmost privacy. Secrecy, you might say. These actors are not yet ready to be seen by the public.
Not ready to be seen.
Major, there is a modesty attached to the process of creation which must be respected.
Modesty. Modesty. Sideway, come here.
Sideway, stay. Major, we
Lieutenant, I will not try to countermand the orders of superior officer.
Obedience, first rule.
Sideway, come here. Take your shirt off. $100 lashes on the serious for answering an officer. Remember, Sideway? You remember that? 300 lashes for trying to strike the same officer. How does that feel? I have seen the white of this animal's bones. His wretched blood and reeky convict urine have spilled all over my boots. And now he's feeling modest. Are you feeling modest, Sideway? Modesty. Brennan, come here. Where's your tattoo, Brennan? The tattoo I've been hearing about, where is it? Come here. Come on, show us. We can't, I want to see it. Come on, show her. We've been hearing about it. Where is it? If you can't manage by yourself, I'll help you. Can you not get it by yourself? Here, let me help.
No! Show what pleasures I may receive abroad are indeed uncertain. But this I am sure of. I shall meet with less cruelty among the most barbarous nations than I have found at home.
Come, sir. You and I have been jangling a great while. I fancy if we made up our accounts, we should the sooner come to an agreement.
Sure, madam. You won't dispute your being in my debt. My fears, sighs, vows, promises, assiduities, anxieties, jealousies have run on a whole year without any payment.
Good that, sighs, vows, promises, anxieties.
Captain Campbell, bring me Arscott.
A year? Oh, Mr. Worthy, what you owe to me is not to be paid under 7 years' servitude.
Let's take some weight off your back, Arscott.
How did you use me? The year before. You used me.
When taking advantage.
I don't want to do this.
Get on with it, Freeman.
I have to measure you. I'm sorry. You'll have to stand, Liz. Please? I will hurt you. I mean, now. And if I had the measurements right, I can make it quick. Very quick. Please? doesn't want to get up, Mr. Brewer. I can come back later.
Hurry up!
I can't measure her unless she gets up. I have to measure her trajectory drop. If the rope is too short, it won't hang her. And if the rope is too long, it could put her head off. It's very difficult, Mr. Brewer. I've always done my best. But I've never hung a woman.
You've hung a boy. You've hung a boy?
That was a terrible mess, Mr. Brewer. Don't you remember? It took 20 minutes and even then he wasn't dead. Remember how he danced and everybody laughed? I don't want to repeat something like that, Mr. Brewer. Not now. Someone had to get hold of his legs to weigh him down and...
Measure her, Freeman!
Yes, sir. Could you please tell her to get up? She wasn't you.
Get up! Get up! Now measure her!
The lieutenant is talking to the governor again, Liz. Maybe he'll change his mind. At least he might wait until we're done the play. I don't want to do this! I know you were thinking you might please and you wouldn't. But someone has to do it if I don't. And I'll be gentle. I won't hurt you. It's wrong, Mr. Brewer! It's wrong!
It's wrong. Death is horrible. There's no food left in the colony, and she steals it and gives it to Cable to run away!
It's true, Liz. You shouldn't have stolen the food. Especially when the lieutenant trusted us. That was wrong. Actors can't behave like normal people. Not even like normal animals. Still, I'm sorry. I'll do my best.
I had plans. Are you finished?
Yes, I have all the measurements that I need. No, one more. I need her to stand. You don't mind, do you? She's so light. I'll have to use a very long rope. The picture will be better. It's taller. Well, will they build me some higher gallows, Mr. Brewer? No one will laugh at you. You won't be shamed. I'll make sure of that.
You can hang yourself! Let's go, Freeman!
Bye, Liz. You were a very good Melinda. No one will be as good as you.
Mr. Brewer.
You wanted me dead! I didn't! You shouldn't have stolen that food!
Speak to her, please, Mr. Brewer!
What?
Tell the lieutenant I didn't steal the food. Tell him afterwards. I want him to know.
Why didn't you say that before? Why are you lying now?
Tell the lieutenant!
Another victim, guys. Another body. Oh, I was so frightened. So alone.
Mr. Brewer?
It's dark. There's nothing. Get away! Get away!
Please! Tell the lieutenant!
Worst fear. And a pain at the back of the neck. And nothing. I can't see! It's dark! It's dark!
For I swear, madam, by the honor of my profession, that whatever dangers I went upon, it was only with the hope of making myself more worthy in thy esteem. And if I ever had thoughts of preserving my own life, 'twas only for the pleasure of dying at your feet.
Well, you shall die at my feet, or where you will. But you must know, sir, there is a certain will and testament to be made beforehand. I don't understand why Sylvia has asked Plume to make a will.
It's a proof of his love. He wants to provide for her.
A will is a proof of love?
No, she's easy will in another sense. Plume must show his willingness to marry her. Dying is used in another sense as well.
No. He gives her his will to indicate that he intends to take care of her.
That's right, Lieutenant. Marriage is nothing, but will you look after her?
Plume is too ambitious to marry Sylvia.
If I had been Sylvia, I would have trusted Plume.
When dealing with men, always have a contract.
Love is a contract.
Love is the barter of perishable goods. A man's word for a woman's body.
Dabby's right. If a man loves a woman, he ought to marry her.
Sometimes he can't.
Then she should find someone who can.
A woman should look after her own interests, that's all.
Her interest is to love.
I could write scenes, Lieutenant. Women with real lives, not these Shrewsbury prudes.
I've written something. The prologue of this play won't make much sense to the convicts. In ancient times, when heaven's fatal charms, and so on. I've written another one. Will you look at it? Mary, you mustn't trust the wrong people. We can make a new life together here. You and me. How would Mary be? Think about it. We can live together in a house. He'll have to put you in a hut at the bottom of his garden, call you his servant in public. That is his whore. Don't do it.
Lieutenant, are we rehearsing or not? Our Scott and I have been waiting for hours.
It seems very interesting, Weishammer. I'll read it more carefully later.
You don't like it?
I do like it. It needs a little work. It's not Farquhar.
Do you think it should be longer?
We'll talk about it another time.
Shorter. Do you like the last two lines? Mary helped me with them.
Ah.
Oh, the first lines took us days, didn't they?
Let's rehearse Sylvia's entrance as Jack Wilful. You're in that scene, Weishammer. Bryant will come to your scenes in a minute. Now, Brennan, remember what I told you yesterday about walking like a gentleman? I've ordered breeches to be made for you. You can practice in them tomorrow. All right? Ready? I'll begin. Ha ha ha! Will you not follow, sir, and fight the bold ravisher?
No, you, sir, are my man.
No, sir. I will not be your man. I do not like your wages.
Then you are not worth my sword.
No. Pray, what did it cost?
20 pistoles in France, and my enemies thousands in Flanders.
Then they had a dear bargain.
Save ye, gentlemen.
My dear, I'm yours.
It doesn't say Sylvia is kissed in the stage directions.
Plume kisses her later. There's a line about men kissing in the army. I thought Brazen would kiss her immediately.
It's completely wrong.
It's right for the character of Brazen.
No, it isn't, Weishammer. I'm the director.
Yes, but I have to play the part. In this sense, they're equal. They're both captains, and in the end, fight for them. We'll be playing Plume in our performance.
I will have to, as Cable hasn't come back yet. It's your line now, Weishammer.
Sir, if you please.
Excellent, Arslan, but we should give you our last lines, and perhaps we should have Weishammer continue with what he was doing before.
Will I be given a sword?
That's not the line, and I doubt it. Perhaps we should work on our Scott. I haven't heard it. This is not how the play is supposed to go. We should perhaps work on the scenes a little bit more.
There is one Plume I have heard commended in town. Pray, which of you is Captain Plume?
I am Captain Plume.
No, I am Captain Plume.
Thou art a liar and a rogue and a cheater, for good sir. I am Captain Plume.
Thou art also a liar, for thou art not noble. I am the noble Captain Brazen. This fellow dare not fight.
That's when you come.
Sir, if you please.
What about me? I haven't done anything either. You always rehearse the scenes with Sylvia.
All right. Let's work on the scene where Rose comes on with her brother Bullock. It's a better scene for you, Arscott. Do you know it?
Yes.
Good. Weisheimer, you will have to play the part of Bullock.
What? Play 2 parts.
Major Ross won't let any more of the prisoners off of work, so some of you will have to play several parts.
But it'll confuse the audience. They'll think Bullock is Brazen and Brazen Bullock.
Nonsense. If the audience is paying attention, they'll know that Bullock is a country boy and Brazen a captain.
But what if they aren't paying attention?
People who can't pay attention shouldn't go to the theater.
If you act well, they will have to pay attention.
But it'll ruin my entrance as Captain Brazen.
We have no choice, and we must turn this necessity into an advantage. You will play 2 very different parts and exhibit the full range of your abilities.
Our audience won't be that discerning.
Their imagination will be challenged and trained. Let's start the scene. Bryant?
I think The Recruiting Officer is a silly play.
That's
I
not
wanna-
how the scene starts.
I want to be in a play that has more interesting people in it.
I like playing Sylvia. She's bold. She breaks rules out of love for her captain, and she's not ashamed.
She hasn't been born poor. She hasn't had to survive. And her father's a justice of the peace. I want to play myself.
I don't want to play myself. When I say Kite's lines, I can forget everything else. I can forget. The judge said I'm going to have to spend the rest of my natural life in this place, getting beaten and working like a slave. I can forget that out there is trees and burnt grass, spiders that kill you in 4 hours, and snakes. I can forget what happened to Cable. I can forget the things I've done. When I say Kite's lines, I don't hate anymore. I'm Kite. I'm in Shrewsbury. Can we get on with the scene, Lieutenant? Stop talking.
I want to be in a play that shows life as we know it.
No, a play should make you understand something new. If it tells you what you already know, you leave as ignorant as when you went in.
Why can't we do a play about now?
It doesn't matter when a play is set. It's better if it's set in the past. It's clearer. It's easier to understand Plume and Brazen. Some of the officers we know here.
Arscott, would you start the scene?
Captain, sir, look yonder, a coming this way. 'Tis the prettiest, cleanest little tit.
Now, Worthy. Sideway. He's in this scene. Where is Sideway?
He's so upset about Liz he won't rehearse.
I'm going to go talk to the governor, but he has to rehearse. We must do this play whatever happens. We've been practicing for 5 months. Let's move on. Here she comes, and what is that great country fellow with her?
I can't tell, sir.
Oh, Lieutenant, I'm not a great country fellow.
Wiseham. The title of the character is Bullock, a country fellow. If only this were a play and you could pretend to be someone you're not. Oh, I know. You could act it, Wisehammer.
Bye, chickens, young and tender chickens. This is a very stupid line. I'm not saying it.
It is written by the playwright, and you have to say it. Here, you chickens.
Who calls?
Right. You are playing a pretty country wench who is trying to entice a captain. You have to say these lines with charm and blushes.
I don't blush.
I can't do this scene without Sideway. Let's do another scene. Arscott, let's work on one of your longer speeches. I haven't heard them yet. I still need Sideway for those. This is irresponsible. He wanted the part. Someone go and get Sideway.
I will do my first speech anyway. Sir, I understand my business. I will say it. You must know, I was born and bred a gypsy. And there, I learned canting and lying.
Who, me?
I was bought by Mother Cleopatra by a certain nobleman for 3 guineas. who, liking my beauty, made me his page.
That's my story. Why do I have to play a silly milkmaid? Why can't I play kite?
You can't play a man, Dabby.
You're playing a man, Jack Wilful.
Yes, but in the play I know I'm a woman, whereas if you played kite, we'd have to think you were a man.
If Wisehammer can think he's a big country lad, I can think I'm a man. People will use their imagination, and people with no imagination shouldn't go to the theater.
Bryant, you are muddling everything.
No, I see things very clearly, Lieutenant. I'm making you see clearly. I want to play kite.
You can't play kite. That is my part.
You won't play kite, but you may have to play Melinda.
All she does is marry sideway. That's not interesting.
I'm sorry I'm late, Lieutenant, but I know all of my lines.
All right, good. Let's rehearse the first scene between Justice Balance and Sylvia.
Whilst there is life, there is hope, sir. Perhaps my brother may recover.
We have but little reason to expect.
I can't. Not with him. Not with Liz. I can't.
One must transcend personal feelings in the theater. We're not getting much work done today. Let's end this rehearsal early.
If you live, I will never again punish you with my silence. If you live, I will never again turn away from you. If you live, I will never again think of another man. If you live, I will never again tell you I want to leave you. If you live, I will speak to you. If you live, I will be tender with you. If you live, I will look after you. If you live, I will stay with you. If you live, I will answer all your questions. If you live, I will look at you. If you live, I will love you. If you die, I will never forgive you. I hate you. No. I love you. I love you, Harry. How could you do this?
Captain Plume, I despise your enlisting money. If I do serve, 'tis purely for love. Of that wench I mean, for you must know. Lower. Captain Plume, I despise your enlisting money. If I just said it. Okay. So, you only want an opportunity for accomplishing your designs upon her? Designs upon her. Well, sir, I'm satisfied as to the point in debate. But now, let me beg you to lay aside your recruiting airs, put on the man of honor, and tell me plainly what usage I must expect when I'm under your command. And something tells me that if you do discharge me, 'twill be the greatest punishment you can inflict. For were we this moment to go upon the greatest dangers in your profession, they would be less terrible to me than to stay behind you. And now, your hand. This lists me, and now you are my captain.
Your friend. Death. There's something in this fellow that charms me.
Oh, one favor I must beg. This affair will make some noise.
Sylvia.
I must therefore take care to be impressed by the Act of Parliament.
What you please as to that. Will you lodge at my quarters in the meantime? Sylvia. Mary.
Am I doing it well? It's difficult to play a man. It's not the way you walk. It's the way you hold your head. A man doesn't bow his head so much, and never at an angle. I must therefore face you without lowering my head. Let's try it again.
What you please as to that. Will you lodge at my quarters in the meantime? Mary. Will you?
Yes.
Don't lower your head. Sylvia wouldn't.
She refused to defend herself at the trial. She wouldn't say a word. This was taken as an admission of guilt, and she was sentenced to be hanged. The evidence against her, however, is flimsy.
She was seen with Cable next to the food stores. That is a fingering fact.
She was seen by a drunken officer in the dark. He admitted he was drunk and that he saw her at a distance. He knew Cable was supposed to be repairing the door. She's known to be friends with Cable and R. Scott. She won't speak. She won't stay where she was. That is our difficulty.
She won't speak because she's guilty.
Silence has many causes, Robin.
She won't speak, Your Excellency, because of her convict code of honor. She doesn't want to have to beg for her life.
Convict's code of honor. This pluming play has muddled the Muffy lieutenant's mind.
My only fear, Your Excellency, is that she may have refused to speak because she no longer believes in the process of justice. If that is so, the courts here will become travesties. I do not want that.
If she will not speak, there is nothing more we can do. You cannot get at the truth through silence.
She spoke to Harry Brewer.
But Harry never regained consciousness before he died.
James Freeman was there and told me what she said.
Wasn't this used in the trial?
Freeman's evidence was very unclear, and as Liz Morton couldn't confirm what he said, it was dismissed.
You can't take the word of a crooked, crawling hangman.
Why won't she speak?
Because she's guilty.
Robbie, we may be about to hang the first woman in the colony. I do not want to hang the first innocent woman.
We must get at the truth.
Truth! We have 800 thieves, perjurers, forgers, murderers, liars, escapers, rapists, whores, and coiners in this scrub-ridden, dust-driven, thunderbolted, savage-run Cretinous colony. My Marines, who are trained to fight, are turned into goalie jailers, fed less than the prisoners.
The rations, Major, are the same for all, prisoners and soldiers.
They have a right to more, so that makes them have less. Not a ship shifting into sight, the prisoners running away, stealing, drinking, and the wee ductile lieutenant talks about the truth.
The truth is indeed a luxury, but its absence brings about the most abject poverty in a civilization. That is the paradox.
This is a profligate prison for us all. It's a hellish hole we soldiers have been hauled to because they blame us for losing the war in America. This is a hateful, hairy-scary, topsy-turvy outpost. This is not a civilization. I hate this possum place.
Perhaps we could return to the question of Liz Morton. Captain Campbell. Morden, if you don't speak, we will have to hang you. If you can defend yourself, His Excellency can overrule the courts. We will not then risk a miscarriage of justice. But you must speak. Did you steal that food with the escaped prisoner Cable?
She told
It is the accused who must answer.
Liz Morden, you must speak the truth.
We will listen to you.
Morden, no one will despise you for telling the truth.
That is not so, Lieutenant. Tell the truth and accept the contempt. That is the history of great men. Liz, you may be despised, but you will have shown courage.
Morden, if that soldier has lied...
There, he's accusing my soldiers of lying. It's that play. It makes fun of officers. It shows an officer lying and cheating. It shows a corrupt justice as well.
Good scene, that very funny.
That too, Campbell.
What? Meant only if he be so good at gunning, he shall have enough. He may be of use against a French where he shoots high. Good, and there's his constable.
Campbell! The play seems to be having miraculous effects already. Don't you want to be in it, Liz?
Morden, you must speak.
For the good of the colony.
And of the play.
I didn't steal the food.
Were you there when he stole it?
No, I was there before.
And you knew he was going to steal it?
Yes.
Guilty. She didn't report it.
Major, you are demeaning the process of law.
Conspiracy is a hangable offense.
We may need a retrial.
Why wouldn't you say any of this before?
Because she didn't have time to invent any lies.
Why, Liz?
Because it wouldn't have mattered.
Speaking the truth?
Speaking!
You were taking the word of a convict against the word of a soldier.
The soldier who was drunk and uncertain of what he saw.
A soldier is a soldier and has a right to respect. You will have revolt on your hands, Governor.
I'm sure I will. But let us see the play first. Liz, I hope you are good in your part.
She will be, Your Excellency. I promise.
Your Excellency, I will endeavor to speak Mr. Farquhar's lines with the elegance and clarity their own worth commands.
Are the savages coming to see the play as well?
They come around a camp because you're dying. Smallpox.
I hope they won't upset the audience.
Everyone's here. All the officers, too.
Gabby can take your part. No, I will do it. I will remember my lines.
I've brought you an orange from Lieutenant Clark's island.
They've thrown it out of Harry Brewer's tent.
Why? He wouldn't have wanted that.
Major Ross said a whore was a whore, and I was to go into the women's camp. They've taken all of Harry's things.
I'll talk to the lieutenant.
Let's go over your lines. And if you forget them, just tap my foot and I'll whisper them to you.
we haven't rehearsed the bow. Garrett used to take his like this. You look up to the circle, to the sides, down. Make sure everyone thinks you're looking at them. Get in the line.
I'll go in the middle. I'm the tallest.
No, Marcia.
Dabby, you should be next to Mary.
I won't take the bow.
It's not the biggest part, Dabby, but you'll be noticed.
I don't want to be noticed.
Come on, Daddy. Let's get this right. If we don't all do the same thing, it will look a mess. We're gonna bow on 3. 1, 2, 3, bow.
You said 3.
You said
You
you.
said 3. What do you
On bow.
You said 3.
Bow.
1, 2, 3, bow. Actually, they'll be shouting bravo.
I wasn't looking at the bow. I saw the whole play, and we all knew our lines. And Mary, you looked so beautiful. And after that, I saw Devon, and they were shouting, bravo, bravo, Dabby, hooray, you've escaped. You've sailed thousands and thousands of miles on the open sea, and you have come back to your Devon. Bravo, Dabby, bravo.
When are you doing this, Dabby?
Tonight.
You can't.
I'll be in the play till the end. Then in the confusion, when it's over, we can slip away. The tide is up. The night will be dark. Everything's ready.
Lieutenant Clark will be blamed. I won't let you.
If you tell the lieutenant, I'll refuse to act in the play.
When I say my lines, I think of nothing else. Why can't you do the same?
Because it's only for one night. I want to grow old in Devon.
They'll never let us do another play again. I'm telling the lieutenant.
No,
Please. I want to go back to Devon.
I don't want to go back to England now. It's too small and they don't like Jews. Here, no one has any more of a right than anyone else to call you a foreigner. I want to become the first famous writer.
You can't be a famous writer until you're dead.
You can if you're the only one.
I'm going to start a theater company. Who wants to be in it?
I will write you a play about justice.
Only comedies, my boy. Only comedies.
Okay, a comedy about unrequited love.
I'll be Mr. Sideway. And so will I. I will play all the parts that have dignity and gravity.
I'll hold auditions tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Where are my shoes?
Almost showtime, my actors. Last minute things. Arslan, remember to address the soldiers when you talk of recruiting. Look at them. You are speaking to them. And all of you, remember to leave a space for people to laugh.
If I see anyone laughing at me, I'll kill them.
They're not laughing at you. They're laughing at Mr. Farquhar's lines. You must expect them to laugh.
That's all right. But if I see Major Ross or any of the other officers laughing at me, I'll kill them.
No more violence. Oh, and by the way, when you carry me off the stage with Jack Wilful, could you be a little more gentle? I don't think he'd be so rough with a young gentleman.
Where is Caesar?
Oh, I saw him walking towards the beach earlier. I thought he was practicing his lines.
Caesar.
When I say please love this man, do you say something then?
I am so sorry about Harry Duckling. He was my friend.
I loved him. But now he'll never know that. I thought that if he knew that, he might be mean.
Are you sure you don't want Dabby to take your part?
No, I will do it. I want to do it. He likes to hear me say my line.
I'm sure he will be watching you from somewhere. How beautiful you look.
I dreamt I had a necklace of pearls and 3 children.
If we have a boy, we will call him Harry.
And if we have a girl?
She will be called Betsy Alicia.
Lying on the beach, dead drunk.
I can't. All those people, my ancestors are mad at me. They don't want me to be laughed at by all the people.
Caesar, you wanted to be in this play, and you will be in this play.
I'm nervous too, but I have overcome it. You have to be brave to become an actor.
S'il vous plaît, monsieur, save me.
You are going to ruin my first scene.
My ancestors will kill me.
Caesar, if I were back home, I wouldn't want to be in this play either. My ancestors wouldn't be very pleased to see me here. But our ancestors are thousands of miles away.
I can't be a disgrace to Madagascar.
You will be more of a disgrace if you don't go on that stage with me now.
Think of us as your family.
Mr. Clark, what do you think of this?
Caesar, I am your lieutenant, and I command you to go onto that stage. If you don't, you will be hanged and tried for treason.
And I'll tie the rope in such a way you'll dangle there for hours.
What will your ancestors think of that?
I could have hanged you. No?
Dabby, have you got your chickens?
My chickens. Yes, over here.
Are you all right?
Yes, I was dreaming.
Of your future success?
Yes, of my future success.
And so too is everyone here. Now, Arscott.
Yes, sir? I am used to the danger, sir.
Here, look.
What's that?
It's salt for good luck.
Where did you get that from?
I've been saving it from my rations. I've saved enough for each of us to have. Let's all have some on three. One, on three. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Lieutenant.
Yes, Weisheimer.
There is the small matter of my...
There's his prologue.
The prologue. I forgot. Let me hear it again.
From distant climes o'er widespread seas we come, though not with much eclat or beat of drum. True patriots all, for be it understood, we left our country for our country's good. No private views disgraced our generous zeal. What urged our travels was our country's weal. And none will doubt but that our immigration has proved most useful to the British nation.
When Major Ross hears that, we'll have an apoplectic...
I think it's very good.
So do I, and true.
But not yet.
It is very good, Weisheimer. It's very well written, but it's too provocative. It will be considered distasteful.
You don't want me to say it?
Not tonight. We have many people against us.
Well, I could tone it down. I could admit, we left our country for our country's good.
That's the best line.
It would be wrong to cut it.
I worked so hard on it.
It rhymes.
We'll use it in sideway theme.
You will get much praise as brazen, Weisheimer.
Isn't the same as writing.
The theater is like a small republic. It requires private sacrifice for the good of the whole. That is something you should agree with, Weisheimer.
So it is.
Now, gather around, everyone. Gather around. Arms linked. Now, my actors, I just want to say what a pleasure it has been to work with all of you. You're on your own tonight, and you must do your utmost to provide the large audience out there with a pleasurable, intelligible, and memorable evening. I wish you all my best.
We wish you our best.
We will do our best, Mr. Clark.
I love this.
Arscott.
You walk 3 steps ahead of me. If you stumble once, you know what's happening later.
You're on.
Move.
If any gentlemen, soldiers, or others have a mind to serve Her Majesty and pull down the French king, if any apprentices have too little wages, any children, undutiful parents, any servants, too little wages, or any husband, too much wife, let them repair to the noble Sergeant Kite at the sign of the Raven in the good town of Shrewsbury, and they shall receive present relief and entertainment.